Hi, I'm Josh and this is Mission Bake. I'm showing you how to make space-themed bakes inspired by the artefacts here at the National Space Centre. First challenge, let's make some rockets. Cream together your butter and sugar in a bowl, add your golden syrup and your treacle and stir this to combine. Now time for your egg, flour and ginger. Mix all this together until it forms a soft dough, then roll it out between two pieces of cling film. Cut out your rockets, then transfer these to a baking tray and bake. Build complete, it's time to decorate. Did you know most rockets are white because the white absorbs the least amount of heat, helping the rockets to stay cool in the extreme temperatures of space? Leave your icing to set, then lift off. Now it's time to enjoy these bickies from the comfort of Mission Control. We want to see your bake, so have a go yourself, send us in the photos and hashtag Mission Bake. What do you want to see us do next? Hi, I'm Josh and this is Mission Bake. I'm making out-of-this-world bakes inspired by artefacts here at the National Space Centre. Today, by popular demand, we're making planet macarons. Let's start by first making the Italian meringue. Whisk eggs in a bowl until soft peaks, then add the hot sugar syrup and whisk for 5 minutes until firm and glossy. In a separate bowl, add your icing sugar, ground almonds and vanilla bean paste, then mix in the remaining egg whites. Fold in the meringue in stages, scraping against the side of the bowl until ribbon consistency is reached. Now you can add your food colouring. Once coloured, pipe your macarons and bake. How do you remember the order of the planets? I like to say my very easy method just speeds up naming planets. To decorate, I wanted to simulate the striped effect seen on planets like Jupiter, so I painted the macarons. Use vodka instead of water to dilute the food colouring as the alcohol evaporates more quickly and doesn't compromise the macarons. Finish these off with some edible luster dust and glitter. Then use some white chocolate ganache and jam to sandwich the macarons together and voila, a solar system good enough to eat. Join us next time when we'll be celebrating the 55th anniversary of Apollo 11 with a showstopper bake. Hi, I'm Josh and this is Mission Bake. I'm celebrating 55 years since Apollo 11 by making a lunar lander out of cake. I knew I had to take on this challenge after seeing a model of the lander at the National Space Centre, and I was excited to make a metallic cake with spidery legs. My version is made out of a vanilla sponge sandwiched with buttercream and a raspberry jam. Fun fact, jam is one of the foods that astronauts can take with them into space. After covering the base and sponge in fondant and spray painting a metallic luster, I used a mixture of fondant and cocktail sticks to make the lander's spindly legs. Then added all the other features with fondant, royal icing and edible paint. Did you know every Apollo mission lander has a different nickname? For Apollo 11 it was the Eagle, as in the Eagle has landed. Lunar landers were a huge engineering challenge as they had to be lightweight, stand up to extreme temperatures and carry their payload of equipment and astronauts from lunar orbit to the surface of the moon. When Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin had completed the first successful moonwalk, they and their crewmate Michael Collins returned to Earth in the Columbia Command Module, leaving the Eagle behind in lunar orbit. While we don't know for certain what happened to it afterwards, the most likely outcome is that it crashed into the moon. Maybe we'll find out for sure when we return to the moon with the Artemis program, but until then we can enjoy this lunar lander good enough to eat. Mission complete. Hi, I'm Josh and this is Mission Bake. I'm making out-of-this-world bakes inspired by artefacts here at the National Space Centre. This time it's Rocky Road meteorites. Start by crushing your biscuits, then melt together the chocolate and butter over a low heat. Meteorites are rocks from outer space that have fallen through the atmosphere and landed on the Earth. One of the most common are chondrite meteorites, which are made up of a mixture of different metals and minerals that came together to form space rock around the beginning of the solar system, 4.5 billion years ago. When you cut open a meteorite, you can still see chondrules, which are chunks of minerals. So that's what we want to recreate. In your bowl, add your marshmallows, which represent the minerals, and your crushed biscuits, which represent the rock. Mix in the chocolate, then spoon the mixture into heaps onto a baking sheet, and then put in the fridge to chill. Now we need the fusion crust. When space rocks enter the Earth's atmosphere, they start to burn up, becoming meteors or shooting stars. This burning causes the outer layer to fuse together, forming a crust. If the meteor survives the burning and lands on the Earth, that's when they are classed as meteorites. Let the crust cool and then decorate with metallic sprinkles and luster dust. And here are your own edible meteorites. Let's see if there's any chondrules. Perfect. Mission complete. Delicious. It's Halloween, and this is Mission Bake. I'm making out-of-this-world bakes inspired by artifacts here at the National Space Centre. This spooky season, I'm making a chocolate and orange trifle with an alien twist. You might have heard scary stories about aliens looking for us on Earth, but did you know that scientists are currently looking to see if aliens could live on one of the moons of Jupiter, Europa? This is because under Europa's icy crust hides a huge ocean where we could potentially find life. Europa has a metallic core and a mantle of molten and solid rock. At the top of this rock layer, scientists think we might find volcanic activity, which could provide the perfect conditions for microscopic life, just like at the bottom of our own ocean. To find out if a theory like this is true, scientists use different wavelengths of light. Light is a spectrum, and we can only see a fraction of it called visible light. By observing infrared or ultraviolet wavelengths, we can obtain information that is not visible, such as how hot something is or the molecules it is made of. For our ocean, it may look like we're using normal sparkling water, but water wouldn't do this. This is tonic water, which contains quinine, which glows under UV light. The UV reveals what we can't see. By taking UV images of Europa and other worlds, scientists can find out if they contain hydrogen or carbon, the building blocks of life. Add whipped cream for the ice crust, and here is your Europa Trifle, a perfect glow-in-the-dark treat for your Halloween party. Mission complete. Apollo 8 were the first crew to eat Christmas dinner in space. But it wasn't very appetizing. Let's take that meal and make something better. I'm Josh, and this is Mission Bake. For my Apollo 8 pie, let's start by making a short crust pastry and head back in time to 1962, when JFK said, "We choose to go to the moon." He set a deadline of the end of the decade for NASA to put the first person on the moon. Their schedule wasn't going to stop for the holidays, so astronauts Frank Borman, Jim Lovell and Bill Anders found themselves launching into space on the 21st of December 1968. Becoming the first astronauts to spend Christmas in space and to eat Christmas dinner in a rocket. For the first space Christmas, the Apollo 8 crew were given dehydrated packets of coffee, grape juice and cranberry apple sauce, plus a new innovation, a wet pack containing turkey and gravy. Although rehydrating dried food was and is commonplace for space food, Apollo 8's wet pack didn't require the astronauts to add water, so it was the closest NASA had ever got to preserving the texture and experience of a real meal. The Apollo 8 mission was a success. The crew orbited the moon 10 times, confirmed the existence of Santa Claus, and returned safely to the Earth on the 27th of December 1968, proving not only that NASA was capable of taking humans to the moon, but also that they could successfully bring them back. And here is our Apollo 8 meal, remade as a beautiful Christmas pie. Merry Christmas, mission complete. It's Star Wars Day, and this is Mission Bake. I'm making out-of-this-world bakes inspired by artifacts here at the National Space Centre. Today, we're looking forward to the Space Centre's Galactic Gathering event and making lightsaber breadsticks. We are using natural colours to create our lightsabers, so I'm pureeing some spinach and adding blue spirulina and beetroot powder to water. In a bowl, add flour, yeast, salt, sugar and butter. Then add your colouring and enough water to form a soft dough. Knead for 5 to 10 minutes until your dough is smooth and elastic, then cover and leave to prove in a warm place for an hour. When your dough has doubled in size, divide it into 4 and then roll out into sausages. If it looks a bit like Jabba the Hutt along the way, that's okay. When you have your lightsaber shape, we now need to make the handle. Dab the end with a little water, then roll your lightsabers in seeds. I used black sesame seeds, but you could equally use onion or poppy seeds if you prefer. When your handle is suitably covered in seeds, transfer the lightsaber to a baking tray and add your final decoration. Did you know lots of the space science that we do today has been influenced by sci-fi, with astronauts often citing fictional characters as their inspiration to get into space? Bake at 190 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes, and here are your finished lightsaber breadsticks, coming to a party or food fight near you. Mission complete. If you're looking for a Halloween bake to make with the kids that is also educational, look no further. I'm Josh, and this episode of Mission Bake will answer the question, did NASA just find life on Mars? While making a perfect treat for the trick-or-treaters. To start your spiders from Mars bars, melt butter and Mars bars in a microwave and then stir in your Rice Krispies. Earlier this year, NASA announced that their Perseverance rover had taken this image of a Martian rock, covered in leopard spots. So did NASA find a leopard on Mars? Well, no. Instead, these leopard spots might be a sign of life. These are the leftover signs of a chemical reaction, and the most likely explanation here is that these were created by microbial life that would have existed on Mars at about the same time that life was developing on Earth. When the bars have set, pour over the melted chocolate topping for your Martian surface. Let's decorate. Although this is very exciting and the most definitive proof of ancient Martian life to date, this is not the first time that an image has caused speculation of alien life on Mars. In 2003, orbiters around Mars captured these images that showed what appeared to be spiders on the Martian surface. But in 2024, scientists back on Earth managed to recreate these shapes, proving that they were caused by carbon dioxide that was frozen on the Martian surface cracking in the sunlight. A spooky effect that releases dry ice. So, whilst the Perseverance rover hasn't encountered spotted leopards or hairy spiders on Mars just yet, it makes us wonder what spooky mysteries are still waiting to be discovered on the Red Planet. Mission complete.